October and some indigenous rituals here in Lexington at Keeneland. The Ponies running in earnest with all of their might and power. Meanwhile, the University of Kentucky men's basketball team with their blue and white game last night in search of their 9th national championship. And something a little bit different in the air tonight here in Lexington. A pivotal and critical game for the Wildcats. An SEC Saturday night featuring Mississippi State and Kentucky from Commonwealth Stadium in Lexington. The Wildcats on the threshold of something big here tonight. But it's been a bumpy, turbulent ride this season. First 3 games, they started off 0-2, in fact, and the defense was very porous. Meanwhile, the last 3 games, they've become a lot more stout. They're second in the SEC East right now at 2-2 overall, and Steven Johnson has put up some huge stats since taking over at quarterback against New Mexico State several weeks ago, and that's where we come to tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore. Quinn Kessenich down on the field. He'll be joining us in just a bit. Rod, it goes without saying, the Wildcats have to have 2 of the next 3 games in order to make it to a bowl game and to end that long drought. And it rests on a quarterback that started the year at number 2 on the depth chart.
You know, they haven't been to a bowl game since 2010, and for Steven Johnson, it's kind of on his shoulders. Now, I know he struggled a little bit in the last ball game, but there's a lot to like. Watch him here in the pocket, his mechanics. Good drop, climbs the pocket, and then makes a difficult throw look very, very easy. Run-pass option, he does this well. He reads it, not a run, got to take it out to the edge and threaten the defensive end, sees the pressure there, and then throws the pass to the tight end. Here's where he's got to get better. Intermediate and down the field accuracy. He's got his tight end Conrad wide open. Throw it to the right side. He leaves it in the middle where the safety can come over and make a play. There's a lot to like about this young man. He's got to bring the good stuff if Kentucky's going to have a shot at getting to a 3 and getting to a bowl game.
And a look at their opponents tonight. Mississippi State. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games and trying to get it back on the right track here tonight, where they've won 7 consecutive games against the Kentucky Wildcats. And, Rod, it's life after Dak Prescott for Dan Mullen.
Yeah, Cowboys like it, not so much for Mississippi State. And they're just really 2 plays away from being 4-2. The opening ball game against South Alabama, missed field goal, cost them that ball game. And then just a week ago, they had BYU in overtime. There's a fumble, and you recover this, they win the ball game. They don't get it done, so instead of being 4-2, they're 2-4 and contemplating what life is like without Dak Prescott and turning into a new era for Mr. Mullen.
Yeah, this is a team, though, that Mississippi State has defeated 7 consecutive times. And speaking of their opponent tonight, Kentucky, Quint is standing by with Coach Mark Stoops.
Coach, how do you balance the great emotion that we're seeing with execution, especially early in this game?
That's what I just told them. One play after another. Do your job. Disciplined execution.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, Kentucky won the toss, deferring to the second half, so Mississippi State will receive the opening kick here tonight. Austin McGinnis kicking off for the Wildcats, and we are underway. That's Malik Deer taking a knee. It'll come out to the 25-yard line. First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Take a look at the lineups offensively. Nick Fitzgerald, the starting quarterback, completing 55% of his passes. Fred Ross is arguably their most dynamic player offensively. Leads the team in receptions with 34 and 5 receiving touchdowns this year as well. Ashton Shumpert getting to start at tailback tonight. Brandon Holloway, one of those starting players, their starting tailback, not available tonight. From the 25. Caught and fumbled by Donald Gray, and they're going to rule it down at the 22-yard line. Derek Beatty made the hit from his corner spot.
Jones, that's a run-pass option, and Fitzgerald makes that throw. Clearly, that was a catch by Gray, and so they'll lose yardage on that. Not an incomplete pass. He caught that and made a move.
Yeah, it took a couple steps with him after following the motion through the catch, so it's a loss of 3. Fitzgerald on a predetermined quarterback run out to the 27-yard line. He can run the ball pretty well. He actually set a school record with 195 rushing yards against South Carolina earlier this season. There's a look at what he did last week in that overtime loss against BYU.
Well, this is his challenge, though. 3rd down and medium, 3rd and long. Making good decisions and making good passes. This has been the issue for this offense.
Fitzgerald a little bit high, incomplete. And it'll be 3 and out for Mississippi State. The pass intended for Jesse Jackson. So Logan Cook will come into punt for the Bulldogs. And we talked about it. We showed you the graphic at the top of the show. This Kentucky defense has been a different unit since the first 3 games of this season. Charles Walker standing at his own 35-yard line for Kentucky. A high spiral by Cook and a fair catch called at the 33, where it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Wildcats offensively. 41-yard punt, nothing on the return. Steven Johnson taking over the reins of the offense. There's a look at the starters. Boom Williams, the starting tailback, leads them in rushing with 540 yards on the season coming into tonight. That is the strength of this Kentucky offense, right, Rob? The way they run the ball.
It is, and they're good up front, but really, this offense is going to go where Johnson takes them. And the challenge for Kentucky is to get his confidence high, to get him going. He's coming off a tough couple of ball games. Vandy, 49 yards passing.
1st down and 10. Little play fake over the middle, complete and dropped. In and out of the arms of his receiver, Garrett Johnson. Boy, when you're trying to get a guy going, you can't have drops.
True, but I like the decision. I like the play call to give him something he likes. Simple crossing route. Johnson's got to hang on to it. But that's the sort of thing you do with Steven Johnson right now to get him comfortable.
2nd down and 10 for Kentucky. Johnson, this one is caught, not dropped by Badette. And he's close to a 1st down, a gain of close to 9 on the play. Here's a look at his numbers on the season. Passing for 628 yards, 3 touchdowns against 2 interceptions. Came in during that New Mexico State game, the 2nd game of the season, when Barker was hurt. And he was on fire in that game, but has slumped in the last 2. On 3rd and 1, they're going to pick up the 1st down. Handing it off to Boom Williams, who picks up 3. Let's take a look at this Bulldog defense. And keep an eye on A.J. Jefferson. He's one of the stars up front for the Bulldogs. He leads the team in sacks. They got a really talented linebacker as well in Leo Lewis, number 44, just a freshman. First and 10 from the 45. Johnson sold the fake, picks up the 1st down, goes high and comes down inside the 40-yard line, jumped over Cedric Gilesrod.
You see the confidence? You don't try and hurdle a guy unless you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Those first 2 throws, that got Johnson feeling like his old self again, like when he started the season, as opposed to the last couple of weeks when he struggled throwing the ball. That zone read, perfect read, and then the confidence at the end.
And there's Johnson now lining up his receiver, JoJo Kemprod, coming in to take the snap out of the Wildcat formation.
We'll see a lot of this tonight.
There's Johnson in motion. Looks like they want to throw. And incomplete. Not sure who exactly that was for. Badette was close, but good pressure by Nelson Adams for Mississippi State. End of the first 15 minutes of play. The first quarter in the books here in Lexington. Johnson and the Wildcats looking for their 4th win in their last 5 games. More when we come back. And Mississippi State with a couple of goose eggs on the board so far. The only potential scoring opportunity was a missed field goal by the Wildcats. Second down and 3. Nice run and a first down by JoJo Kemp. Brought down by Lashard Durr, an 8-yard pickup. Kemp actually didn't play against New Mexico State. He was suffering from an ankle injury. First and 10. Lining up in the Wildcat again. This is Boom Williams. Boom runs a little counter action. And probably picked up about 3 or 4 yards on the play. Let's go down to Quint.
Yeah, red zone means a heavy dose of Wildcat for Kentucky. Peter Sermon, the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, said it was important for them not to play the Wildcat in the same redundant defensive formation every time. He felt that Kentucky could get a line on where they'd be and how they'd play it. So you're going to see multiple defenses versus similar Wildcat looks.
Interesting adjustment there. 2nd and 6. This is Williams with nowhere to go. DeAndre Ward making the stop on the play. Good to see Williams healthy this year. Last year he was slowed by an elbow injury that he subsequently had surgery on in the offseason, was held out of camp early this year, but he's a big home run hitter for them.
Yeah,
Rod.
he is. But, you know, I think right now Mississippi State is more concerned about the rushing attack. Their safeties are bad. Sooner or later, they're going to start creeping another guy into the box to try and deal with that rushing attack.
3rd and 6. It's Williams behind Johnson. Got 3 receivers out to the bottom of your screen. They give it to Williams, and they came right up and diagnosed that in a hurry. Jamal Peters making the tackle on the play. A loss of 3 and 4th down coming up.
Well,
and remember, McInnes missed a field goal earlier.
Yeah, he hit the upright. I'm amazed at how many kickers are able to do this, and they're not even trying. Look at this. I mean, have we seen, what, 6 of these?
Easily.
8?
Yep. Well, he's going to wind it up and try it again. This is coming from 46 yards out. He missed earlier from 26. McInnes knocks this one through, and Kentucky on the board first here. About 4 minutes into the second quarter. So we're going to take a timeout. You like Seabiscuit out there when he's running, folks. There's not a better conditioned sideline reporter in college football. Able to pull information out of the coach. Mixon on the return, still on his feet. And speaking of being on the move, Mixon with a nice return out near midfield. First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Aries Williams in a tailback. Takes the handoff and finds a nice seam over the left side. Picked up about 7 on the play. Meanwhile, Mississippi State has had 4 3-and-outs so far tonight.
Yeah, you're into the second quarter, no first downs. Before that play, they had 13 yards on 9 plays. Add 7 to that now.
2nd and 3. There he is again. Williams moves the pile and looks like he got enough for the first down. Aries Williams had a big week last week in the absence of Brandon Holloway. Had 21 rushes for 82 yards in that overtime loss against BYU. And he picked up the first 10. That's the first down of the ball game for Mississippi State.
Well, they still need to get Fitzgerald comfortable. He's got to run the ball more. And that's such a big part of their offense.
And here it is. Quarterback run. Running a little tentatively, made it down to the 40-yard line before being stuck by Blake McLean.
Look, he's bigger than Dak Prescott. He's probably a little bit better of a runner. He was an option runner in high school. A little tentative there. I'd like to see them feed him a little bit more, get him knocked around a little bit, feel comfortable, and then let him throw it a little bit.
And get him in a comfortable place. On the handoff, this is Malik Deer on the move. Malik Deer, touchdown, Mississippi State. A 45-yard burst of speed, and the Bulldogs take the lead.
Well, Malik Dare just busted through 2 or 3 tackles. 1 arm, 2, 3 arm tackles. He just runs right through. 5'9", 220 pounds, and nobody can handle him.
Braves in for the extra point.
Let's go. Block it.
And the Bulldogs lead it 7-3. Oh, nice little mix of run and pass on that drive, and Mississippi State leading when we come back. Heart of the Bluegrass next to Keeneland Racetrack. Historic Manchester farm specializing in breeding and selling thoroughbreds. And their prospects. A special thank you, folks, to Bobby Powell, general manager of Manchester Farms, for allowing us to come visit this weekend. Some absolutely beautiful animals out there. Kentucky on the return. This is Badet.
Let's go back.
They know how to do it right here in Lexington.
I bet that's a pretty penny to get that, though.
Tell you what, there's a football community just waiting for an opportunity for something big to happen. Next 3 games could determine a lot as to what happens in their season. Benny Snell picks up a couple of yards.
Well, to your point, they have beautiful facilities here. You saw the tailgating. They've had a couple of great recruiting classes. And this is the 4th year for Stoops. And a lot of fans are going, we are ready to spend December somewhere else. So get to a bowl game, get us out there. So a lot of pressure on Kentucky. The players want it too. They're feeling a bowl game.
Out of the Wildcat this time, it's Snell. Great hole up the middle, a yawning hole for Snell. And the longest play of the game for Kentucky, consisting of 27 yards.
Oh, they just pull the right guard. You'll see him lead Snell into the hole there, gets on the linebacker. And when you get on those linebackers, when you hunt those linebackers down, you can make some plays inside.
First down and 10 from the 39. Going to line up in the Wildcat again. And it's Snell again. They fake the little fly sweep, but nowhere to go this time over the right side. Snell bottled up as we go down to Quint.
A true freshman running back here from Ohio. 220 pounds, I tell you, but his quads, he's got a strong calf and lower body with his quads. He's in the game right now because JoJo Kemp, one of their 3 running backs, was taken inside for hand x-rays. So it's been a heavy dose of this freshman with a lot of talent.
Well, Q, he is usually their closer. They used him against Vandy in the 4th quarter to just really wear down that Vandy defense. And
puts his hat down and picks up a couple of yards that time, stopped by Nick James. It's amazing how many football coaches watch their prospective players play basketball. Right?
Well, you can find out who's an athlete. You find out how their lateral movement is, how competitive they are. You know, do they play defense?
Move your feet, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good thing he couldn't shoot too well, or else he might not be here playing football, right?
That's true. we know that.
Snell with 9 rushes for 50 yards. 3rd and 7 coming up. Johnson swarmed and sacked back at the 35-yard line. And a fumble on the play. Johnson made a big hit, and Mississippi State recovered the ball.
Well, you have to be aware of what's going on in the pocket. Secure the football. Johnson has one hand on this thing, and watch it. He's got people around him, and that ball is being pulled out. It's gone now. It is gone. That was a heck of a play by Jonathan Calvin, number 16, who reached in there because the ball wasn't secured, and then it was recovered by Spencer, number 42.
And a big break here for Mississippi State, going to start at the 35-yard line with 3:09 to go in the first half. Boy, Kentucky coming off of a bye week. Chance to get rested and get right, and off to a shaky start on the reverse. This is Deere again. Had a nice block on the edge, and Malik Deer with a first down inside the 20-yard line. Remember, he scored the touchdown a moment ago. This time he picks up 16, Rod.
Hey, Watts Fitzgerald, you want to see your quarterback do some work? Look at that. He's right in there doing some work, knocking wear off.
Look at a standing O in the film room for that, right?
Absolutely.
First and 10 from the 19. Hand off to Shumpert. Big gain of about 13. And it's first and goal for Mississippi State.
Well, they're wearing out the linebackers right now. And Jordan Jones is aggressive and overrunning the play a little bit, and he's got a lineman in his face immediately.
Back at the line of scrimmage quickly. Fitzgerald's going to keep it himself. Made a nice move and gets down to the 4-yard line where he's tackled by Courtney Love.
You know, we've talked about the Kentucky offensive line, but this Mississippi State offensive line is starting to assert itself. Its dominance. They're having no trouble getting to the second level, handling 34 Jones and handling 51 Love. They're making it easy on the running backs right now.
Rolling up their sleeves and winning the battle on the line of scrimmage. Second and goal. Fitzgerald's going to try it again and jog into the end zone. Touchdown, Mississippi State. Nick Fitzgerald with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season and the 6th of his career. That gives his Bulldogs a 13-3 lead.
Points off of turnovers. You get a strip sack and pick up the ball, and away you go.
Well, they started this off at the 35-yard line of Kentucky, and a couple of plays later, they're going to lead. They make this 14-3. Extra point is good. And Nick Fitzgerald, if not spectacular, has been efficient tonight and has gotten his team into the end zone a couple of times, for what it's worth, Rod.
And it's quite a surprise when you consider how inefficient they were on offense in the first quarter. They kind of got things going with a couple of big runs in the second quarter, but Mississippi State has got to be happy that they haven't really played well offensively, and they got 2 touchdowns.
Jeff Baudette back deep for this kickoff.
You don't want to make a mistake and give Mississippi State a shot right before the end of the half.
Little blitz coming. Got rid of it in time. Great catch and move by Timmons. And out to midfield for the first down. Boy, you talk about a breath of fresh air and a reprieve. A gain of 21.
How about toughness for Johnson? He had a blitz coming, and he stood in there and delivered that.
First and 10 near midfield. Johnson tipped and almost intercepted.
Dark and full of terror over the middle.
How did he beat that blitz on the last play, Rod?
Well, he was tough. He stood in there. Watch him as he gets all this in his face, and he makes a terrific throw to Timmons, who uses some great yak yards after the catch to put them in position to try and get a score before the end of the half.
Second and 10, 49 seconds to go. Johnson down the field into traffic and caught miraculously at the 20-yard line by Timmons. And they're in business in the red zone now with 40 seconds to go.
Rather be lucky than good. You've got 2 receivers in the same spot. That's not supposed to happen. And then you get it tipped up from Baker to Timmons. Really?
30-yard gain on the play. Now to the 19. Make it 32 on the play.
Just the way you drew it up.
Yes, sir. Kentucky with a couple of timeouts remaining.
You know my view, Jonesy. You're down here. This is kind of a gift. You need to come away with points. Don't ignore a field goal if you have a shot at it.
Looked like they had a problem with the play clock.
I'm all for being greedy and trying to get 6, but you have a field goal in your back pocket. one that you probably have no right to be in position to have. So you take care of the ball.
Johnson surveys, fires high and incomplete to a wide open Dorian Baker. And I mean wide open.
Well, he said that was on me, Johnson did. And it's just fundamentals. You know, it's not being balanced. It's not having his shoulder and being pointed in the right direction. He just tried to tippy-toe throw that, and his accuracy was off. Back to basics.
Sets up a 2nd down and 10. Kentucky's had a tough time scoring points this year. They are at the bottom of the pack in the conference in points per game. 2nd and 10. Nice draw. This is Boom Williams. Breaks a tackle and pushed out of bounds at the 15. Picked up 4 with 29 seconds to go. Quint?
Well, on this play, it's going to be really important for Mississippi State to keep Johnson in the pocket. They've been really cognizant of their rush lanes. They want to make him a pocket passer. He's extremely dangerous as a scrambler down here.
Yeah, but Q, would you feel confident as the Kentucky coach throwing the ball into the end zone here?
If they roll him out to the right, maybe. But for him to sit in the pocket and throw the ball over the middle, no.
Agreed.
On 3rd and 6. Blitz coming. Johnson never got rid of it and got drilled at the 25-yard line by Gray.
Yeah, he might get flagged for that. I'm not sure that passed the line of scrimmage. Look at the black line.
Yeah, there is a flag.
No, he did not get it across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and there's a flag down at the 24, so.
This may push you out of field goal range.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. The pass crossed the line of scrimmage.
Wow.
4th down.
Wow. Didn't look like it crossed the line of scrimmage.
19.
That did not look like it came close to crossing the line of scrimmage.
Instead, a 32-yard field goal attempt by Austin McInnes. He missed from 28 earlier, then made one from 46. And he's now 2 for 3 on the night and makes it a 1-score game, an 8-point deficit for the Wildcats. A lot of juice in the stands and the surrounding respective areas. Johnson's team looking at a 14-6 deficit as we head to the studio for the Regions Bank halftime report. Guys?
Coach, your first 9 plays, you had 13 yards, and then things changed. Why?
We just stopped playing awful and killing ourselves right there. I mean, it was like the Bad News Bears, jumping off sides penalties, guys fumbling the ball. They started to execute a play.
What's your primary concern defensively in the second half?
Nothing. We got to keep playing. Make some tackles. We missed a couple tackles. I mean, tip balls. I don't know what can go wrong for us. We're fumbling, bumbling the ball. They're tipping it up, and we have 3 guys there to catch it, and the ball bounces over our head into one of their guys' hands. We just got to keep making our own luck by playing really hard in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Under the lights here in Commonwealth Stadium, Lexington, Kentucky. The Wildcats trailing 14-6. They've won 3 out of their last 4 games, but struggling so far here tonight, especially offensively, as we get ready to begin in the 3rd quarter. Mark Jones chopping it up alongside Rod Gilmore. Quint Kesnick down on the field joining us in just a bit. Nick Fitzgerald, the quarterback from Mississippi State, only played 8 games last year, unheralded coming out of high school, but he's got his team in the lead right now, Rod.
And they haven't played very well. And I think one of the things that has to happen in the second half for Mississippi State offensively, Fitzgerald has to run the ball more. He has 5 carries for 4 yards, and they have to find a way to get Ross involved. He has no targets, no catches. He's their top receiver. And if you're thinking about Kentucky, what must they do in the second half? Well, first and foremost, I love their Wildcat. They got to get back to the Wildcat, do some more of that. But they have to make some plays down the field in the passing game. Something over 20 yards. We have not seen them consistently be able to make throws down the field, and that's shrinking the field for them.
Kentucky 2-2 in SEC East play. And looking at a huge opportunity to make a run here at a bowl bid as we go downstairs to Quint.
we've got to get drives started, find some rhythm offensively. And then late in that second quarter, Mark Stoops was complaining about the pressure that was getting to his quarterback. Defensively, he said it was just a couple isolated plays, and Rod, you broke it down. It's a bad gap integrity on one play, and it's a missed tackle on the other. He also said that their sudden change defense off of their turnover wasn't very good.
Yeah, sudden change is mental, Q. Your defense is on the sideline, and all of a sudden they got to get out there, got to be prepared to play.
Let's see what they do here in the opening possession of the third quarter. Kentucky has been able to hang its hat on its running game the last couple of contests. They run it here with Boom Williams out near the 30, picks up 5 on the play. Simmons on the stop for Mississippi State. There's a look at Johnson's numbers in the first half. 9 of 22 passing. Had that one fumble that Mississippi State was able to turn into points.
Remember, he had 49 yards passing against Vandy in their last game, and the big issue was getting his confidence going in this game, and they started off well.
He beat the blitz and completes the pass to his tight end, C.J. Conrad, who broke a couple of tackles. Man, he moved the pack a little bit there. Took 2 guys to finally haul him down, and a nice gain.
It's a good throw on time. Look at his feet, balanced, and he puts it out there. Conrad comes up with it. That's the way that Johnson started the game, and then it tailed off in the second quarter. They need him to be like that, confident, throwing on time.
And here's the Wildcat, Rod, that you said that they might want to get back to it or run a little bit more of. It's been prolific for them. Little double reverse. Johnson looking to throw, has a man open. Got it. Touchdown, Badet. A little sleight of hand by the Wildcats.
Well, they had to find a way to get some big passes. They used the Wildcat in trickeration, bring it back to Johnson, and Badet just runs from one side of the field to the other. The Mississippi State secondary bought the Wildcat fake.
A 44-yard touchdown pass by Steven Johnson, and they're going to go for 2 here.
Oh, no. Way too early. Way too early. Going for 2 is a fourth quarter issue. You start chasing points, fall behind, and it comes back to bite you. I don't like this at all. Wait till the fourth quarter.
Johnson looks like he's checking them into a play. Another bit of trickery. He catches it. Not sure he got in. No good. Johnson made the catch. Garrett Johnson made the pass, and they came about a yard shy, and you didn't like the call.
Mark this, and let's keep in mind how much they have to chase points now because they didn't take the one that was right there.
Johnson lunging there and
never broke the plane.
14-12 when we come back. What a start to the third. An exciting start here to the third quarter as Kentucky digs into their bag of tricks a little bit to score a touchdown, and almost did the same on the 2-point conversion, Rod. Coming back the other way, 1st and 10. Fitzgerald keeps it himself on a quarterback run. Brought down by Adrian Middleton. And the big plays certainly coming tonight. 3 of them 20 yards or over.
It's so hard to have a 14, 15, 16 play drive and score. You make mistakes, you get penalties. That's why you need big plays. You get chunks of yardage to make it possible to get to the end zone.
Fitzgerald again. Boy, what a great move by Fitzgerald, a very proficient runner who picks up the first down at the 41. Quint, what do you got?
Going back to that touchdown, Jonesy, this morning, Coach Mullen on our jog said, always have to beware of the bye week surprise. And there it was out of the Wildcat. Rod, I think that the bye weeks are completely underrated. You get healed, you get healthy, your staff gets to rest, and they get to self-evaluate.
Little play action, Fitzgerald open, complete at the 26-yard line. Another first down, and Fred Ross with a another play here.
He's the guy we talked about at halftime. He was ignored in the first half. And you can't ignore a guy like that who just set the school record in receptions, career receptions. Got 163 now.
And the meter's still running. 1st and 20. Handoff is to Malik Deer. And Deer stacked up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. And that's Jordan Jones, team leader with 56 tackles coming into the ball game. Tell you what, those Stoops brothers, they lock up players from Youngstown, Ohio, and Cardinal Mooney, don't they?
They own that high school.
They got a monopoly on it.
They do fundraising there and everything. Any kid who's a player there, the first thing he learns is Stoops.
Yep. They make up your mind whether it's, Oklahoma, Kentucky. 2nd and 20. Fitzgerald keeps it himself. Got a nice block on the edge. Still on his feet. Inside field goal range and down at the 20-yard line. 2 yards shy of the first down. Picked up 17.
He's a nifty runner. He picks his way through things here, and he is faster than you think. He outran a couple of guys to the edge there. Not an easy guy to bring down at 6'5", 230 pounds.
Pretty impressive rush numbers today. 8 times for 37 yards.
They didn't run him enough in the first half.
3rd and 2. Williams in the backfield. Williams on the handoff, and he's not going to make it. It's going to be 4th and a long 1, maybe 2 coming up. Adrian Middleton there to make the tackle on the play. And in comes the field goal unit. That's a little bit of a win for the Wildcats defensively. This is Weston Graves, who's 8 of 12 on the season. He missed a 28-yarder last week. And missed that attempt against South Alabama that would have won the game for them in the first game of the season. This from 36. And he knocks it through. Bulldogs leading by 5 when we come back to Lexington. And welcome back, everyone, under the lights at Commonwealth Stadium. The dead back deep for Kentucky. From the 5. Cadet with a nice straight arm, good burst out to the 44-yard line. And a nice kickoff return by the Wildcats. And they'll start with good field position here. Well, earlier in this quarter, we saw Kentucky with a couple reverses, one of them for a touchdown, the other one on the 2-pointer.
I like that guy there. There's Johnson up there in that slot position. He's dropped a couple, but they've gone to drag routes to him most of the year in these situations. He's dropped 2 tonight.
Steven Johnson fires complete into field goal range at the 36-yard line to Taven Richardson. Richardson with his first catch of the game picks up 17.
Only his 7th catch of the year. But another big-bodied receiver at 6'3", and again, the big, wide-body receivers can help Johnson a bit. Bigger targets.
First down and 10. Handoff into the boundary, and Boom Williams with nowhere to go. You're talking about those big receivers. Mark Stoops bringing in Lamar Thomas as the wide receiver coach. Played 8 years in the NFL. Has really done a nice job with those guys here at Kentucky.
He was a big receiver.
Yeah, big, yeah, about 6'3", 6'2".
6'4", big tall receiver.
8 years in the NFL. Played for Jimmy Johnson in the NFL and bringing some of that know-how to the sidelines here in Lexington. 2nd and 11.
More Wildcat.
Johnson splits out wide to the top of your screen. And this is Boom Williams with nowhere to go. Maybe got a yard. That time well deciphered by that defensive front. DeAndre Ward leading the way.
Mississippi State doing a good job of bringing an extra guy down into the box, try and take away that rushing attack. And once again, a 3rd and long. Where will the pressure come from? Mississippi State has generally only brought pressure when they've been backed up. This is a good opportunity for them to do it again.
In field goal range, don't want to take a sack. The 4 of 12 on 3rd down in a gaping hole. Snell, touchdown Wildcats. $34 yards. His 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
Now watch the linebacker come inside. He gets pushed off, and because they were spread out, there's nobody else there. Wide open middle.
A career-long run of 34 yards for Snell, and they're going to go for 2 again.
Yeah, you're chasing. You're chasing 2 points now. Now, had they not done this, they could just be kicking a PAT. They'd be fine, but they're chasing it because they missed the first 2-point conversion.
Trying to make it a field goal lead with the 2-point conversion. They hit the corner. Is it complete? Yes! Richardson with the catch.
Watch him stab it with the left hand. Does he control it? Control and drags the left foot. That's good.
What a catch by Taven Richardson. Off the great touchdown run by Snell. Well, the crowd here at Commonwealth Stadium turned up right now. From the 3, Keith Mixon up the middle, stayed on his feet, and makes it out to the 31. This is Aries Williams. Williams with about 3 or 4 yards, and on the last series, Darrell Williams, the redshirt freshman in Bessemer, Alabama, was shaken up, taken off the field after a 15-minute delay on a stretcher. His extremities immobilized and taken away to Chandler Medical Hospital a moment ago. Not far away. Hoping to get an update on him soon. Aries Williams again over the left side, picks up 4. And they're already missing 1 starter on that offensive line. Now more change. 3rd down coming up. Fitzgerald passes wide open, and I mean wide open to Mixon, still on his feet at the 38-yard line. Great execution, and boy, Fitzgerald with some good ball handling really sold that play fake, and they pick up 22 yards, Rod.
Well, he's in the backfield right here. He's just going to slip right out, and they'll miss him. Actually, he was hiding behind the tackle.
Fitzgerald keeps it again. Fitzgerald with speed to burn. Touchdown. What an answer for Mississippi State. That's how you bounce back. 38 yards for the touchdown.
Oh, we talked about his speed and his ability to make people miss, but he was decisive here. He made up his mind. That's a run-pass option play. He said no need to throw it, and he takes off.
And a salute to the crowd here in Lexington, albeit a mocking one. That's his 2nd touchdown tonight rushing. And Nick Fitzgerald. Dak Prescott? I got you, Dak Prescott. Well, certainly good news that he was able to move his extremities. Great report, Quint. And that is some heartening news. Johnson passing over the middle, open. Out to the 46. Great move by Timmons. And Timmons out near midfield at the 49. Picked up 24. Johnson standing in the pocket and getting his feet set.
Well, they're creating mismatches. They got Timmons on a safety, and he just ran a crossing route across the middle of the field. Plenty of time and protection for Johnson to find him, and they need more of that.
Now in the Wildcat formation, Johnson splits out wide to the top of your screen. This is Boom, and Boom Williams brought down by Lewis after a 3-yard gain. Back to the previous play, Rob.
It's about matchups. Here you see Timmons. He's one-on-one with a safety. He can just run away from a safety. He gets man coverage like that. That's finding the right matchup and exploiting it.
Good look that time, and a nice call by Eddie Grand, the offensive coordinator.
Kentucky, rolling in the third quarter offensively.
Out of the Wildcat formation again. Boom Williams picks up about 3. About 3.5 minutes to go. Hoyt making the stop on the play. Rod, how much do you have to trust your running backs when you run this much Wildcat? I mean, with the snap, with handling the ball, that's not something they do a lot of, and things can go wrong.
Well, remember, they had the bye week.
Okay.
The Wildcats been part of their offense, and they knew they were going to use more of it. So the bye week, they got into it more and got more reps with it.
3rd and 4 and a little motion up front. Jeffrey Simmons up there from Mississippi State.
Outside. Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
All of a sudden, we have a track meet with these two offenses after a defensive struggle in the first half.
Yeah, it's up and down. First down and 10. Johnson taking a shot deep. Got a man. Caught. Beatty. Touchdown. Badet with the score. Johnson to Badet. And Kentucky retaking the lead.
Jonesy, we talked about early, there are a lot of things to like about Johnson. He gives Badet a chance to make a play. He puts the ball up there and lets him go get it. That's something that we didn't see him do at times earlier in the year, but he's getting better every week, and that was a big-time throw.
And Kentucky not chasing the 2-point conversion this time. They kick it, and they're up by a field goal. And Lamar Thomas telling Badet, that's how you got to get it done. Wide receivers coach.
He got single coverage. He beat it. And Johnson gave him a chance to make a play. And he goes up high to get that thing. And Johnson ought to be happy because he did exactly what he needed to do. Put it out there and let your man go get it.
Badet now 5 receptions today, 109 yards and 2 touchdown catches.
He threw for 49 yards in his last game against Vandy. 49 yards.
Yeah, and a big turnaround tonight for Steven Johnson, the junior.
They couldn't buy a big play the last 2 games. And look, tonight, he has bounced back big time throwing that ball down the field.
And then signing with Kentucky was actually the number 2 guy at the beginning of the season. Then Drew Barker went down in that game against New Mexico State early in the season. Johnson came in during that game, was on fire, threw for over 310 yards with 3 touchdowns. 1.5 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Here's a little trickery, and Malik Deer on the reverse, but there was some company waiting for him on the other side. Gain of 6. You know, Dak Prescott probably heard, is doing a great job right now with the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL, while Tony Romo is hurt, and a lot of debate as to whether Romo should be the starter when he comes back or not.
That 69% completion percentage, it's pretty close to what Prescott did as a senior at Mississippi State. Folks were used to him being on target, and what a job Dan Mullen has done with some quarterbacks.
Yeah, generational type player at Mississippi State, and a nice stick there by Jordan Jones. He wants to tell people about it too.
If you think about quarterbacks Mullen has had and whether Fitzgerald is likely to be a good one, he's had some guys like Prescott. He's had some guys like Alex Smith at Utah and Tim Tebow. He even had Cam Newton as a backup, and he needs Fitzgerald now to play like that on this third down.
Well, that's going to be the end of the third quarter of play. Kentucky looking to break a 7-game losing streak against Mississippi State, and in the process take a step closer to a potential bowl game and bowl eligibility. And welcome back, everyone, to Lexington, Kentucky. 15 minutes to play. And an exciting second half. Both teams finding their way offensively. 3rd and 6 for Mississippi State. Fitzgerald picked off. Room service. Touchdown, Kentucky. Marcus McWilson.
But Marcus McWilson saw this all the way. Fitzgerald stares it down and throws it a little bit inside. You see he takes a hit, but McWilson is all over this. And this ball was thrown behind Malik Deer. McWilson steps in front. That's a pick six for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they don't come much easier than that. And Kentucky now leading by 10. It's tough to put the headset on after one of those. They lead it by 10, and McWilson untouched after making that interception. Mathematically, Rod, this Kentucky team with a shot in the SEC East.
Come on, man.
Mathematically.
Yeah. You know what that means? Seriously.
Let me get to dictionary.com here in a second. I'll tell you. You know, there's a community here in Lexington that could use some good news, folks. Earlier in the week, back on Sunday, the daughter of Tyson Gay, Trinity Gay, was killed in a senseless cross shooting here in Lexington, Kentucky. She was a local 15-year-old track star and the daughter of the Olympian and world champion. And it was something that was felt all across Lexington and around the state. The defense coming up with a big play there. Blake McLean leading the way along with Denzel Ware, and just to put a period on it,
senseless.
Yeah, we don't pretend to know all the answers with respect to guns in this country, but I do know one thing, that we can do better. And had a chance to meet with Tyson Gay a little bit earlier, and he wants to send out his heartfelt thanks to the Lexington community and people across the world that have reached out to him, and the loss of his daughter Trinity. All their prayers and thoughts go out to him as well.
Absolutely.
Here at ESPN, a real champion throughout the years. 3rd down and 11 coming up for Mississippi State.
And where do you go with the football now? First, you've got to protect Fitzgerald. Ross generally has to be your guy.
Fitzgerald with time. Threw it into a tight window, incomplete. And 4th down coming up.
Partner, what do we say about the middle of the field?
Filled with terror.
It is dark and full of terror, and Fitzgerald almost stepped into some ugliness there. Brown almost came up with that one.
41 seconds of possession time for the Bulldogs that time. Logan Cook into punt. Spiral and a fair catch called at the 40-yard line by Charles Walker on the 36-yard punt. Wildcats leading by 10 when we come back to Commonwealth Stadium in Lexington. 1st and 10. Kentucky. Boom. Detonating out to the 40-yard line. Boom Williams with a 20-yard pickup.
Watch the hole open and the linebackers don't get off blocks. There you see great blocking inside, and you got to get off blocks. Devs Harris, 46, tied up. Couldn't get over and make a play.
He's the home run hitter in the backfield. Coach is talking about, especially Eddie Grant, the offensive coordinator, telling us earlier that Boom Williams learning that this is a one-cut league. Interesting observation. Boom going north-south on that last play. Johnson keeps it himself and tiptoes out of bounds. Q right at field goal range.
I think if you're Mark Stoops right now, you just keep this ball on the ground. Mississippi State, as a team and their defense, really lacking emotion since the injury. This arena is pretty hyped up. I haven't seen Commonwealth Stadium ever like this. I think they sense that they could be looking at their first win over Mississippi State in the last 7 or so tries. So this is a critical juncture, but the momentum swing here has been radical.
Yeah, it felt like Mississippi State was emotionally into it until those big plays took them back out.
Well, they found another gear. Here's Snell still on his feet, and that's what Snell does that the other guys for Kentucky don't do quite as well. He'll move that pile a little bit. He's a little bigger at 220.
He's the closer. He's like Chapman coming in for the Cubs, nailing it down. It's the 4th quarter. They bring him in. They give him the ball behind the big offensive line and just pound their way down the field.
Hold on. What do you mean like the Cubs? You're not on the bandwagon, are you?
No, I just recognize good,
okay.
you know?
Okay.
You know?
Right. Just trying to check.
Just recognize that
it's swelling, you know. They're up 5-0. I'm swelling.
Chapman comes in throwing 100 miles an hour. I think you better acknowledge that.
26, Snell, that's the guy with heat, and he's bringing heat on this play, trying to close it out. Still plenty of time to go, but great ball control, and Snell with an 8-yard gain.
Well, John Toth, the center, 72, is wearing guys out. He's on a double team, and then he's sliding up, getting a backer. He is their best lineman. This is his 41st straight start. He's just an animal in the middle of that line, and they are controlling everything right now.
Yeah, Snell with 14 rushes for 105 yards. He's got the hot hand. In the Wildcat, Johnson split right at the top of your screen there. They've done a lot of trickery out of this formation tonight. Snell keeps the direct snap and picks up the first down and then some. Got about 5. First down, Wildcats.
They're just wearing them out, Jonesy. Wearing them out. You know, those linebackers like to be free to run and make tackles, but the guards and the center for Kentucky, they're pushing guys right back into them, and they can't get free to make a tackle.
Snell again, still on his feet, carrying a defender for several yards and got enough for the first down. It'll be 1st and goal for the Wildcats. And it was interesting when Quint asked the offensive coordinator, Eddie Grant, about trusting his tailbacks to sub in and out of the game depending on who had the hot hand. The answer he gave was not quite ready to hand it over to them yet, but they do a great job.
Well, he knows who has the hot hand right now.
Yeah.
26 Snell.
He's their Chapman right now, all right.
Well, the impressive thing about him, Quint talked earlier about his lower body strength and how powerful he is, but he also runs behind his pads. You don't see him, too upright. He's delivering blows.
And he got enough for the first down.
It usually takes freshman running backs, the bigger backs, a while to learn that, but Snell is all over it. He is just pounding away and using his pads as a weapon.
And he's still in the backfield on 1st and goal. Conrad beside him. Snell brought down nicely from behind that time by DeAndre Ward.
Yeah, nice change up for Mississippi State. They just brought Ward off the edge and he chased it down using his speed.
Gonna be 2nd down and goal.
And critical for Mississippi State to try to hold this to a field goal. If you hold it to a field goal, you've got plenty of time, 10 minutes to go, and you would need 2 touchdowns. Giving up a touchdown here would really hurt the Bulldogs.
8th play of the drive. Johnson kept it himself, fumbled it, ball came out. Mississippi State's got it, and they got a group of white shirts. They're going to escape McLaurin all the way downtown for the touchdown.
Are you kidding me?
An egregious turnaround, a cataclysmic turnaround for Kentucky. One more look.
This is simply Johnson with the ball, not securing it, and Mississippi State stripping. I mean, they held him up there and stripped it out. There was no whistle that we could hear where progress was stopped. They stripped it out, and then there's the pickup and run for 6. Wow.
Just as Kentucky was going in to score and perhaps put this game on ice. And it's a 3-point game, a field goal game. Well, Dan Mullen went for a run with Quint this morning. He was going a little faster, I'm guessing, right here when he was watching that 81-yard fumble recovery by Mark McLaurin go the other way.
What did he say at halftime? We got to play hard. We'll make our own luck.
And Coach Gran is putting his quarterback on blast. Back after this. Some of the lovely sights in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. And back here at Commonwealth Stadium, suddenly a 3-point ball game when just moments ago Kentucky was leading by 10 and going in for a touchdown. Perhaps on the verge of putting this game out of reach. Back out of the Wildcat. This is Boom Williams, and Boom trying to take it back the other way into field goal range.
Yeah,
he's the home run hitter.
That's the problem. You can't sit back. Right now, you're being worn out by that offensive line. You got to bring your run blitzes now. Your linebackers are sitting back waiting, and they're just getting destroyed by those guards who are pulling. So if I'm Mississippi State, I'm going to attack the line of scrimmage. I mean, sitting back is not working.
Yeah, great point, Rod. There's Boom Williams now out of the Wildcat, taking the direct snap. Got a couple of blocks. Tiptoes down the sidelines and finally out of bounds near the 15. They mark it at the 16. Got a good block from Stallings.
Watch the linebackers. Blocked. They can't get free. I mean, they're sitting back there. You're better off attacking the line of scrimmage because they're sitting there and these guards are coming out on them and wearing them out.
Hunting linebackers.
Hunting them down.
Saw Snell give a little ball fake like he was going to throw on one of those Wildcat snaps a couple of plays ago. Not sure he's actually going to do that. Puts his hat down and picks up about 2 to the 20-yard line with about 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Kentucky and Mississippi State both with 3 timeouts remaining.
And we've talked about wearing out those linebackers. Look, they've run right at them. 194 yards right up the middle. That's that Kentucky offensive line, Toth in the middle at the center, you know, pulling their guards, trapping, coming right up, and those linebackers can't get off blocks.
Yeah. Well, we watched film on Kentucky earlier this week, and that offensive line is pretty good. 2nd and 13. They fake the jet sweep. And Snell brought down by Richie Brown for 5 yards. And I'm guessing they're going to keep it in Snell's hands the rest of the way.
Do you see the back of Richie Brown's jersey? Why the rye? You know, give him, I mean, R. Brown or give him the full name. But rye, R.I.?
Might stand for something we're not aware of. On 3rd and 7, they set up the screen, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Simmons in there to bat it down, along with Marquise Spencer. So 4th down, a field goal, and it's still just a 1-score game for Mississippi State. Either way.
That's a good stop for the Bulldogs there on that 3rd down. So now keep it a 1-possession game. You can give up the field goal here, and they'll still be fine.
Under 7 minutes to go. Mississippi State got a touchdown several minutes ago on a fumble recovery by Steven Johnson that went back 81 yards the other way. This is McInnes from 32 yards out. He's 2 of 3 tonight. And he drills this one through to make it a 6-point game. Bulldogs will have the ball down 6 when we come back. Two yards deep, Keith Mixon. And Mixon makes it out to the 25. Well, a potential defining moment in the career of Nick Fitzgerald here. There he is in motion. He got into the slot. And he's going to take a shot downfield. Incomplete. Intended for Donald Gray. And let's go to Q.
Well, with Beatty, the lengthy, tall corner out of the game, maybe Dan Mullen takes a shot. He said this week he's unlikely to throw fades because of the length of their corners. Now with the backup in, maybe he tries it.
That's Ross in the slot, the 3rd receiver in.
See if they'll go after the new DB. Fitzgerald comes underneath, complete. Down to the 46-yard line, and a nice catch by Fred Ross, who we've been talking about, an 11-yard gain.
You got to find him. He's a guy that can make plays for you, and when you put him in the slot, you put him in trips, and you put him inside, he's got great matchups that he ought to be able to take advantage of. So you got to create ways to get the ball to him.
2nd-year starter. Rewriting the school record book with respect to receiving yards and receptions. Gerald hands it off to Williams, and Williams into Kentucky's side of midfield, picks up 6. Under 5 minutes to go. All 3 timeouts remaining.
You can run this drive. The playbook is open. You can go back to Fitzgerald. Use him in your quarterback run game. Right now, you've got control of this drive and the control of the chains, so use it.
2nd and 4, Fitzgerald keeps it and picks up another 1st down.
You can feel the rhythm, Jonesy, coming to the offense as they incorporate what they do best, which is the quarterback run game.
Gain of 6 on the play. Beatty, meanwhile, comes back into the ball game to play corner for Kentucky. Remember, Mississippi State has won 7 straight games against Kentucky. The Bulldogs have lost 3 of their last 4. Fitzgerald trying to change that here. And tackled shy of the 35 at the 36. Kentucky, meanwhile, has won 3 of its last 4. A handoff is to Deere. Malik Deere had a touchdown earlier tonight on a nice run. They'll move him around a lot and make him a receiver, a rusher, and gets the first down on the 9-yard gain.
Well, they're mixing it up. They're trying to throw the ball on first down, primarily to Fred Ross, and then getting back into the quarterback run game. It's a good formula down here.
The give is to Williams, and Williams makes it back to the 29, tackled by Chris Westbury in a season that has been rife with near misses, close calls for Mississippi State. They're 2-4, but they could easily be 4-2.
Don't forget, everyone around Lexington is viewed tonight as a critical game for Kentucky to have a shot at getting to a bowl game.
Fitzgerald's going to take off. Right on the fringes of field goal range. Picks up 5.
I don't think
third down.
Mississippi State is thinking about a field goal. I think they are committed to 4 downs if need be. Down 6 here, 2.5 minutes to go. This is a critical third down, but I think they're already thinking they've got a 4th down play if they don't pick this up.
12th play of the drive. 3rd and 8.
If you're counting defenders in the box, they've got 5, and they can run against that defense. 5 blockers on 5 defenders.
Look for Ross, who's split to the top of your screen. Fitzgerald looking his way. Little contact and a flag. He was working against Chris Westbury, and as I said, Ross, the intended receiver.
Pass interference, number 21 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's actually a good play by everyone.
Wow.
It's a good play by Westbury because he was beaten and he was going to give up 6 to Ross. It's a good play by Ross because he helped sell it too to make sure the officials saw it instead of just giving up on it. So well done.
It's taken most of the ball game, Rod, but Mississippi State and Nick Fitzgerald looking Ross's way a little bit more frequently here in the second half. Right now split to the bottom of your screen. He goes in motion. Over the middle. Ross again brought down to the 7 by Westbury. So that's becoming an interesting matchup.
Well,
those two.
It's been there, in my view, all night. I don't think they used him in the first half as they could have. But you start putting him in the slot, you put him in trips, you get the mismatches. He's got great hands. You can use him. So he's still available down here. Now you have to pay attention. You have to think about doubling him, which allows you to do your quarterback run game if you want down here.
That was his 4th catch. He goes in motion again. Fitzgerald surveys, fires, incomplete. Broken up by Blake McLean. Intended for Jordan Thomas.
And McLean is unhappy with himself because that was right to him. It was thrown really, really hard. We've talked about the arm that Fitzgerald has. 3rd and 6 here. If you're Fitzgerald, how about run pass option? Let him roll and have an opportunity to use his legs if he doesn't see anything.
They can get a first down without scoring.
And Ross is down here. That's the preferred place for him. You've got him matched up against the safety.
Big target at 6'2". Fitzgerald over the middle. Ross! Touchdown, Mississippi State. Ross, you said it. He got the matchup he wanted.
Well, you put him in the trips formation. He's matched up with Mike Edwards, the safety. And Ross looks at that, and he's going, look, I can beat a safety all day. Fitzgerald hangs in with the blitz. You see it coming right up the middle and just throws it to the spot where Ross is supposed to be. And Ross got inside of Edwards.
And the all-important extra point. Maybe not as routine as you'd like to think sometimes. Graves gives Mississippi State a 1-point lead with 1:09 to go. Kentucky has all of its timeouts remaining. But Fred Ross was invisible in the first half. But you can hear him now, folks. He's lit, and he's given his team the lead. Well, time winding down on the Wildcats, and potentially their hopes of a bowl berth to try and get to 6 wins. 2-2 coming into tonight. And at one point, they were leading by 10 points and about to take it in for a touchdown when things took a weird turn. From the goal line, Badette. And he's tied up at the 20-yard line. Keep an eye on that field goal line. They got to get to about the 38 to be within range for Austin McGinnis. Johnson on the receiver screen, complete. That's Garrett Johnson, and he picks up the first down. He atones for the 2 drops that he had earlier tonight. Under a minute to go. Kentucky with 3 timeouts remaining, clock running. Johnson overshot his receiver.
Well, he did. Charles Walker ran into the ref. The ref knocked him off his route. That's the issue. There you see right there, there's the ref and Walker. Hey, who are you going to call a penalty on? He's part of the field.
Who's that on? That's on the receiver, right?
He's part of the field.
44 seconds to go, 2nd and 10. Johnson going to take off. Collar back at the 37. That's not a horse collar call. Didn't see a flag. The fans booing. Jonathan Calvin making the tackle.
And Jonesy, that kind of a non-call, horse collar, that's not subject to replay review.
Great point. 3rd and 4. Johnson comes underneath, complete. First down and more. That's Badette. Gets another first down, 12-yard gain.
You know, it doesn't do you any good to take your timeouts home. You know, you're running the clock and you got 2 timeouts. What are you doing?
Johnson, double clutch, has a man open. Incomplete. Barker couldn't squeeze it. Dorian Baker had it and then bobbled it and lost it.
Well, Jamal Peters is down in the end zone, but you're right, Baker, who is finally healthy, their leading receiver from last year, had a shot at this. It's a good play, both players clean, no interference, and he just could not hang on to it. But Jonesy, I want to go back. Time management. You've got plenty of timeouts, plenty of times. You should have more than just one last play now. Wow. You've got 9 seconds, maybe one last play. And you started this drive with 3 timeouts and 69 seconds.
9 seconds to go. Johnson given time, complete, and they get down immediately with 3 seconds to go in field goal range. Badette makes the catch.
You got to call a
timeout here.
Well, the clock will start after they spot it, but they're calling the timeout now. Good move. This is the opportunity we talked about. Get one over the middle, use your timeout, and now you have an opportunity to kick it.
Quint?
Yeah, I'm under the goalposts here. Negligible win. This kick may move slightly towards the press box, towards you guys. Cool night, 48 degrees. But the wind that was going 9 miles an hour earlier has really settled down. No wind.
Austin McGinnis going to try and keep their bowl hopes alive with a win here tonight. From 51. For the win. Straight away. Snap is down. McGinnis. Wildcats win. Let's go downstairs to Quint.
Big congratulations and hugs. Emotional, to say the least right now, Coach. The play before the field goal, what were your options with 9 seconds to go?
The play before, we practice that every week. We're going to dagger down. We're going to run the dig, and we're not going to run the clock out. We practice catching the ball and getting down so the clock does not expire. Call the timeout and hit it. We practice it every week. It worked.
What changed? What was the turning point in the third quarter when all of a sudden your offense started to perk up?
Well, the offense started making plays. We were getting some protection. We hit some big plays. We were feeding off each other. We were really playing well, and it was very unfortunate with the scoop and score. We got to be smarter there and get down. We were in really good control, but it says a lot about our team to fight back through all the ups and downs and to win a game like this.
Yeah, this is just not a normal game. With knowing what's at stake, what was going through your mind when your kicker approached that ball?
You know, honestly, I was thinking, I was very proud of our football team. We're not perfect, but I love these guys. They're playing their hearts out. I wish we could play a little bit better at times, but they're a fun group to coach.
Gutsy win, Coach. Congratulations.
What a night.
How about Steven Johnson, cool under pressure after a tough week against Vandy a couple weeks ago with 49 yards passing. He engineers a game-winning drive to make his coach happy and smiling and celebrating and send Dan Mullen and his crew home with a loss.
It was Mark Stoops' night in the end. They win 40-38. Coming up next, SEC Now. For Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick, I'm Mark Jones. Thanks for watching. Right now, we send it to SEC Now.